my friends, welcome to Creating with Jovi, and welcome to the Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal. I have been invited to participate in this. I'll be sure to link everybody who's participating in the description box with their channel names. In this video, I'm going to start with the creation of the journal. So I want to begin with sharing the papers. So these are some papers that I hand dyed. I used Rit dye. These are all vintage papers right here. For example, this one's dated 1959. And it was about somebody's, I think, military selective service. This is a handwritten letter that I went ahead and dyed. This looks to be like notebook paper. How did that find its way? Oh no, it's an old letter. Okay, I can see it there. And then this is something about employees and their hours of duty guide. I thought the colors were really pretty, and you'll see why I chose these colors. Another vintage, all of these are vintage, so there's those. Okay, so that's kind of a basic there. And then I'm going to be adding them. You can see why I chose these colors, because I'm going to go ahead and use some of this scrapbook kit, which is Graphics 45, and it is a fairy paper, and I thought that'd be fun. I will be cutting these apart because these will be put into the journal for when we trade it around. Folks can use them to write a note or whatever. I'll also add these so that somebody can like decorate a page. Maybe each person, I'm going to try to make it interactive. Maybe each person can decorate a page. Some can do maybe a collage, just a variety of different things. So here I am sharing these papers with you. Now these 12 by 12 papers, I'll go ahead and cut these down to 8.5 by 11. Oh, here's more tags. Let me make sure these are not the same. Okay, they're not. That's good. And then here's another one. So I think it's going to end up being really pretty, my friends. I hope you'll follow along with this series. So each time that I receive one of their journals, I'll be doing a page, and I'll make sure I record that. And then, of course, when I get mine back, I'll do a flip through of that whole thing. I'm going to start by cutting these to 8.5 by 11. Now, if you're participating along with me and you'd like to build a journal, it doesn't have to be a Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal, but you could just be creating a journal. We're going to go ahead and take each page and fold it in half. I've decided to make this a 2-signature journal, so real quick we're going to go through and we're going to choose which images, which two that we'd like to be the center of each signature. This one is going to be the center of the first signature. Let's do this one the center of the second signature. And the next thing we're going to do is divide these decorative papers between the two. And I don't really care which ones go with which, so let's just go ahead and divide them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these in half, and I'll do the very same thing. I'll just divide them up. All right, I got that part done. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix these papers in together. This is going to be the center. And then we'll put this one here like that. And then we'll grab, let's do a blue. Blue and orange always look pretty together. This is the center, right? We know that much. And we could do, it's kind of busy with writing on here and writing on here. So let's go with the blue one. All right, my friends, one of the things that we know we need are some pockets. And we definitely need a pocket to hold stickers and other embellishments. And we need a pocket to hold, what is it? We need a, sorry, I'm trying to think here and talk. We need a pocket to hold papers because I would like some of my new friends to do some collaging. So we have a nice big pocket here, and I think that's sufficient to hold a bunch of stuff. So let's just go ahead and glue that in real quick. All right, this first pocket is going to be a take some, leave some pocket. So I think real quick we'll go ahead and make a little label that says that. I'm going to take this offcut here, and I am going to just trim a piece off of it. And we're going to glue that on, but I'm going to round those corners. As of this video, I have not packed up my corner rounder yet. I was a little hesitant to join this collaboration, but you know, I thought, okay, if I make my journal early before it's time to send it out, that gives me a jump. And, you know, as long as I communicate with everybody about my new address and all that, when that time comes, I think I should be okay. It's going to be a busy year, but I think I can work it out. Well, I've committed, so I am going to work it out. If I have to stay up till midnight to do it, that's what I'll do. Or wake up at 5 in the morning. All right, we got that on there. Now let's just write take some, leave some. I'm gonna use this marker. There we go. And I was thinking, just to jazz that up a little bit, I've got this yellow paint marker. Sorry, I had to shake it. Hopefully I did enough. And we'll just do a little highlight here and there. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up filling this with stickers and ephemera and all that kind of stuff. So we've got that. Now I've got a list of things that I want to be in my Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal. And so I wrote a note that I wanted to include a take some, leave some pocket. So we got that, right? Now we just have to fill it. We also want an introduction page for each person. There's 10 people in this collaboration. I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, do I want to start the journal off with people signing in and the date they got it? I think that's a great idea. So maybe I change the order of this. Yes, we could definitely change the order simply by doing this and this. Now, we have take some, leave some. That could be the last page. Which one am I doing? Yeah, this could be, well, almost the last page. This could be the introductory page. Yes, okay, let's do that. We'll have everybody sign in on this page. All right, I got some paper. I put some glue, a little glue bead on the back of each sheet, and I'm going to glue this down. Let's put this at the top, and we'll write on here, please sign in. I hope I do this right. I probably should print it out on my printer, but I want to keep this as eclectic as I can. Perfect. I don't think I messed it up. I created a introduction page to introduce myself, and it says, hi, my name is Jovi and my channel name is Creating with Jovi. Jovi's not my legal name, but even my family calls me Jovi now. I've been an artist my entire life. I did my first mural at the age of 4 on our hallway wall, which I didn't have permission to do. I've created with all kinds of media and enjoy exploring new materials and styles. I don't have a specific style. I tend to create according to my mood. I enjoy working with paper and fabric. I make tassels, junk journals, collages, gel prints, handmade paper, and dyed paper, and also recently just started watercoloring. I am married and I have 3 grown children. My oldest lives with us. The middle is engaged and living in Florida. We are prepping to move to be closer to them, and my youngest is in Tallahassee getting her master's degree from FSU. I also have 2 adorable parakeets named Minxie and Rico, which some of you have heard. I hope you will enjoy this journal. Pick any page that you would like to create on. I have added prompts for you if you would like to use them, but don't feel obligated. please feel free to create in any way you would like. And then over here, I hand wrote a little note, and it says, there is enough room in this journal for you to use 2 whole spreads, parentheses, 4 pages, if you would like. So don't be shy, let loose. And then on the next page, I say, would you like to leave your handprint, pretty please? And then over here on the side, I wrote, you'll still be able to use 2 more spreads, because I added, there's actually like 25 spreads in here. So I added plenty of room for these fun ladies to be able to explore and have some fun. I'm going to add a page that says, what is your favorite quote? Question mark. And then I'm going to say down here, please continue on and create a beautiful spread. So here I put create a monochromatic spread using your favorite color. Figured they could use the whole page, and it can be a spread in any way they want. They could do a collage, they could do a mixed media spread, they could do like a journaling page and add a pocket, whatever they want to do, just keeping it monochromatic in their favorite color. I think that's fun. And then I said on this one, this looks like a good spread for a collage, and they could keep these images or some of them and then do a collage over here. They can always cover up what I wrote, and I think that is a lot of fun. On this page I write, please share one of your favorite memories. You can do this via words, collage, mixed media. Create right over top of these words. So they could take a piece of paper if they wanted to use words, larger than this perhaps, and then they could write it, or they could do a collage right over this whole entire spread. I am hoping that they'll use the entire spread because there's plenty of room, and I am hoping that they'll cover my words. That's what I'm hoping for. All right, my friends, I am leaving the center section, or the center of this signature open. Somebody is welcome to use it in any way that they'd like to. On this page, I have added, have you been on a local adventure? Tell me about it on this card. And use the opposite page to visually, I was supposed to say visually, I put visual, but I meant to say visually share it. Collage, drawing, photos, etc. However they want to do that is fine by me. Friends, I figured we'd do a couple of take some, leave some pages. So I'm thinking one of them will be stickers. That's an easy one, right? We could do take some, leave some, like simple tags, like journaling tags. So I'm creating the pockets now. Maybe just some small decorative papers or playing cards. Oh, playing cards, that's a cute idea. Okay, got some ideas. All right, my friends, so I have created a page. Well, I think I showed you that I've got the take some, leave some stickers. I put some stickers in this little pack so that they wouldn't go flying around all over inside of the journal. And I went ahead and for the pocket that says take some, leave some paper, I added a variety of papers. Got 3 of this pattern and then these 2. And we'll slide those in there. And then we've got one more pocket. That's the stickers. And oh, then we have this one. So this is take some, leave some journal tags. So I just popped a couple different small tags, a few larger tags, and that's what we've got there. So we're going to tuck that right in there. So these are ready to go. All right, my friends, it is time to create the cover for the journal. We have both of our signatures. Wait, where'd the other one go? Oh, here it is. We have both of our signatures ready here. So I was thinking about, since this is my journal, I'd like to experiment with something. And the thing I'd like to experiment with is doing a semi-soft spine and using the burlap as the spine. This was actually an offcut, and it won't make it super stiff, but it would be better than not having something in there. Don't really need a stiff spine, just something I think maybe to give it some shape. So that's what I'm thinking, and I might even, no, I think I'll just go with this width. I like this. I'm going to keep this simple, and that's what I'm going to do. So I have folded it here, you can see. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the bottom. Hopefully that's on camera. I'm going to actually glue this in place because we're going to cover the burlap, okay? So let's start with gluing that in place. All right, I've got my Fabri-Tac here, and I think what I'm going to do is just actually lay it onto the burlap spine part here. Let's see how that does. If I just take this, flip it over, lay it down, and then I might have to add some right here. So let's just go ahead and do that. This will be interesting. This is a fun experiment. We'll see how this works. All right, so that should be held into place fairly well. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is figure out how much cover we need. And I'm thinking, since I'm certain we're going to have a little extra, I could create some pockets on the front. I've got this extra material, so I could do that. Although, actually, this needs to be cut to size because I'm going to cover this with fabric. So let's not think about pockets yet. These are sewn in like this. And they're going to come out about this far, let's just say. Then I could fold this over. All right, let's straighten this part out real quick. I'll scooch this down so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, we'll get rid of that. So this would fold about here, and even if I don't make this into a pocket, it might be nice to double over the burlap to create just a little bit more stiffness. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Yeah, what happens if I tuck it almost up to the spine? Does that give me enough room? Let's experiment real quick. So let's say this is here, then this is going to cover here. Oh, it does. Okay. Let's go ahead and glue this into place here. I want to crease this a little bit so I know where I folded it. I guess I could mark it. Well, it's got a pretty good crease in it. That should be okay. All right, we're going to get our Fabri-Tac back over here and get some of that down on this. So right now I have switched gears. I'm not worried about making this into a pocket. We're going to use this to stiffen up the cover just a little bit. So we switched gears. Now this is the back cover, so I'd like to do the same thing over here on the front. So let's say this first signature is sewn in right about here. And let's say we fold this in. Let's get rid of, well, I'll do that in a minute. Let's say we fold this into here. And we pick this up like that. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. So I can go ahead and clean this up a little bit here. I'm just going to cut it right here. That's great. And we'll just get that out of the way. All right, let's try that again. Let's try folding this in. I'm not ready to crease it really well yet. Let's see, this is here. I like it. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now you could do this with fabric as well, my friends. You don't have to use burlap, right? If you wanted to make a soft cover, you could just do some layers of fabric and that would work. Oops. That would work just fine. I am planning on using my sewing machine on this cover. I want to use it before I have to pack it up and put it in storage. Okay, my friends, there we go. So now we have the shape of our cover, okay? And let's just double check it before we move forward. Yeah, that's great. Super great. All right. Now we can move these over here. I don't need to play with those for a while. So what I've done, I don't know if any of you watched my series of Build a Journal with me, but on that series, I went ahead and I did like a patchwork cover, and I loved it so much. So I'd like to do the same thing for this one. I chose different fabrics, of course, but I just thought it was fun, and so I'm definitely going to plan on doing the same thing. We're going to do this for the inside cover, so let's go ahead and just cut that to shape. Now, I've packed up most of my fabric, but this stuff I did have in my stash, and actually these small pieces, I mean they come much longer, but the ones that are this width, these are from Panda Hall. I'll link that. Oh, the little pack of fabric they sent me was just fabulous, and I will link that in my description box. And we have this little scrap here. I'll keep this out just in case we want to use it somewhere for something. We've got this ready, and I'm really happy with it so far. I'm going to go ahead and glue this into place. Which is the right side? Okay, this is, yeah. Let's go ahead and glue this into place. We are going to sew, but I want to sew everything all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this glued down. You know, I'm thinking I might use glue stick because it won't bleed through, and it should tack it down good enough, and it doesn't end up being super thick, so it shouldn't affect my sewing needle on my sewing machine. I'm just tacking that down right at the spine first, and then I'll go ahead and do this here. Let's go ahead and get that in place. I'll just press that down, and I'm going to go ahead and do the rest. I'll do that off camera. Friends, this is all tacked down. That should hold in place. Now we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to pull off some loose pieces here. All right, what do we know? We know that right here is the spine. When I did this before, the thing that I don't want to do is make the piece too big or too small for the spine. So I'm having an idea. Oops. That didn't work out the way I thought it was gonna. But I was thinking for the pieces for the over the spine, we could go long ways with them, and then it'll wrap over, and there won't be any like little pieces that are gonna end up sticking up, right? So this will be patchwork, but it'll be a little bit larger than the one I did for the farmhouse cow journal. I'm gonna clip this here and tear it. Just make sure it's straight. We can go ahead and start right here. What do you think about that? And we'll just lay these pieces down, and if I need to grab a few more scraps as we go, I can reach into my fabric bin and do that. But let's get these laid down. This is fun. It's like collaging, but with fabric. Of course, I love collaging, you know? And I love playing with paper and fabric too. So let's go ahead, put this right here. Oops, is that upside down? It is, whoops. Let me put a little more there. Okay, got that. All right, and now I'll go ahead and put it right on here. Great, so I feel like that's the technique I'd like to use over the spine, and then let's focus on that first, and then we'll add the other fabrics. How does that sound? What should come next? Let's do this one. This one will look cute, I think, going over that. I'm just gonna take and drag this glue all the way down this. And you know what? Let's offset it. Let's come over here all the way to the end. I like that. Let's make sure that we don't copy the pattern. You know, if we really want to make it look like patchwork, we got to mix it up a little bit, right? Now we're going to come in with a lighter color, but I'm feeling this one. Feeling this one here, and we could just bring this over here like that. There's a little space here, so I'm going to have to bring this up here, and then I'll have to finish off the bottom with something else, but that looks cute. So let's get this put down. All right, I've got a piece of fabric. Let me move this up here for us. And I tore it nice and long, but let's go ahead and snip that to size here. We can use this somewhere if we want to. I'm gonna go ahead and tear this in half. All right, now we get to have fun and piece the rest of it together. All right, I think I want this piece over here. All right, my friends, I am gonna go ahead and tack some trim down with fabric tack, but I might sew over some of it. But at least I know it'll pretty much be tacked down. Don't have to worry about it. But this is just to, you know, finish it off, have a nice little finishing touch. Yeah, I don't feel like I actually want to sew through this gingham trim because, you know, then it'll kind of get in the way of the gingham print, and I don't necessarily want to do that. Now I'm going to take out my sewing machine, and what I'm going to try to do is sew along some of these seams. And I'm just gonna do the best that I can, you know. I should definitely go around the edge, and I probably should have done that before I put the trim on. That's okay, I'll go on the inside edge. And then I'll go up inside and, you know, try to add some zigzag stitch to some of these. That's the plan. I'll meet you back here. Okay, my friends, I am going to go ahead and take and sew some buttons onto the journal, and that will tack these corners down. And I suppose before I get started on that, let me go ahead and trim the trim, right? Get that out of the way. My friends, so now we're going to go ahead and sew a button on. I have the flamingo button here for the top corner, so I'm going to start with that. Actually, I forgot to tie my thread together, so I am using a nice large thread, nice and strong. I've got that tied together at the bottom, and now it won't come off of this. And I mean, you know, simple, just gonna just like you would sew any button on, just gonna sew this like this. I'm gonna hook the button on like that and then sew it back through. And since it's double threaded, I don't think I need to do that more than once. So now I'm just going to take this and tie a knot. And of course, I'll do that a couple of times just to make sure that that's nice and secure, and clip away the excess. And there we have our first button. Bottom, let's do this yellow one. Now for the yellow one, there's 4 holes, so I went through the 2, and now I'm gonna come up and hit that 3rd one, and then go through to the 4th one. And then, just like before, I will go ahead and tie the knot in the back. Now for the upper back corner, I am gonna go ahead and do a pink button. This one has 4 holes, so I'll do it just like I did the yellow one. And for the last button, I have this cute square one, and we are going to put that right down here in this corner. It'd be fun to take this safety pin. It's pretty big, right? And to put this on here, and then we could add like a dangle to it or something like that. But let's just get it on into place. Let's put it, let's see. If this is the front cover like this, oh my gosh, that's looking so cute. Super cute. I'm thinking about putting this, let's see. if I want it to sit like, ooh, I could do it. No. If I'm going to put dangles, it needs to sit like this. Or if I'm going to put dangles, I might do them from here so it actually needs to sit like this, I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and we're going to pop this through. Trying to get it through the burlap, but not necessarily through this fabric here. Let's see if we can get that to close. There we go. Oh, that's super cute. All right, my friends, I've grabbed a few things, a few fun things to add to our safety pin here. I have this dangle here. I have some little candy beads. And then I have like this little flamingo bead. So I thought we could get these onto this safety pin just to add a little bit of whimsy. Now I can use a bulb pin here for the big one. That might be fun, quick and easy too. So we'll attach that. And these will just be hanging and dangling and just having a good time. I like it. And then I have these straight pins here. And let's find some that we can use to create a way to dangle these. In case you've never done this, I'll show you how real quick. So you take your straight pin and you're going to put it through your bead. Right, this one, the circle that's on the end, actually this is an eye pin, sorry. The eye on the end is big enough so the bead won't fall through. Then you just take the other one, and we want to make sure this end is going to be big enough too. So I'm going to grab my needle nose pliers and I'm going to twist this around, and that is plenty big enough. And actually, I might add something to that. I'm going to go ahead and do this to each one of these. Okay. And if you have some beads and you want to play along, go ahead and grab them. And grab your needle nose pliers. Don't know if we're going to need the ring, but I grabbed it just in case. Instead of having to dig back through my stuff, it's just easier to get everything together all at once. I do see that I'm making these little other ends a little bit big. So I may adjust that, or I may just let it be what it is. I haven't decided yet. Probably could have gone for a little bit of a shorter pin, but you know, you have to be careful because sometimes then you get into a situation where it's too small, and then that's frustrating. So, you know. And I don't play with jewelry making supplies enough to really have a good solid handle on it. I want to see how best to attach this. I grabbed some of these, and so I figure I'll use one of these. This is silver. This is a little jump ring. This might be a little fiddly, but I'm gonna hook this on here, and then I'm gonna hook it around my safety pin. Now I need to close it. All right, my friends, I want to share the cover with you. So here it is. Got the buttons in the corners, got the safety pin with the cute dangles, and they are just gonna flip and flap around, and I think it's so cute. And if any of the participants want to add a charm, they can. You know, that would be fun if they did that. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew the signatures into the journal, but I am really loving this cover. Yeah, this is so super cute. Really happy that I took the time to make it this way today. So I'll be right back, and I'll do a little quick flip through for you. All right, my friends, please excuse the shadows, but I want to share this journal with you. Here we have the cover. We got our cute little dangles here. Did our patchwork. We have our gingham trim. Here you can see I sewed in a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I do have a tutorial, probably several, on that if you are interested. I didn't do the tutorial during this little series that I'm doing, but you can go into Working on Junk Journals playlist and most likely see that there. Okay, so here we go. Let me just give you a quick flip through. You saw me create most of it. Here is the inside cover. I think it looks great with the sewing that I've done. This is the sign-in page for their name and their channel name and their date. And then we start off with I'm introducing myself. And then we start off with some instructions and letting them know that they can use 2 spreads in the journal if they want to. And then a little notes here that when using a page with a prompt, for example, this or this, you could just cover the prompt. You don't have to leave that exposed. So then I've asked somebody, anybody, if they'd like to leave their handprint, that they could do that. And then anybody can put in their favorite quote and then continue on to do a spread. And then we've got some prompts for the spread. Like this one's make a monochromatic spread with your favorite color. This is a spread for a collage. What are you inspired by today? And then create a spread about that. And then this one is to share their favorite memory, and they can create a spread, a collage, or a mixed media, or whatever they want. This is blank for anybody to use in however way they would so choose. This is to write about a local adventure and then create a piece of art that would share that local adventure. Trying to move over a little bit so the sun is not doing what it's doing. But anyways, all right, this one is tell me about you, and then create a spread that reflects you and things about you. And this is the same. This is do you like fabric? So do a spread, whatever you want, but use some fabric in it. Blank, open for interpretation. Take some, leave some stickers. So I have them tucked in this plastic bag so that they don't go flying all around. This is take some, leave some paper. They can use it in this journal, or they can just take it and have fun. This is used to create collage or mixed media, so they can flip through these little papers. And if they want to use it in their work in here, or not, use it at home, they can do that. It's kind of like another take some, leave some pocket. This one is, do you have a favorite recipe? Write your recipe on the card, but then share a picture or do a collage of it, that sort of thing. Draw or collage your dream outfit. I thought that was kind of fun. Tell me about you. Okay, so we already had that one. The gratitude, share something or someone you're grateful for and create an inspirational spread reflecting that. What's your morning routine? Collage it, use both pages. Favorite flower, create an inspirational spread. Sweet or salty, please create a creative spread sharing your favorite. Do a nature collage. Share your wish list. Tell me, how could you treat yourself kinder? And another, tell me about you and create a spread that reflects you. Draw or collage your favorite season. What's your favorite aesthetic? Create a spread reflecting it. And then take some, leave some journal tags. And that is it, my friends. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I can't wait to send it off to my first recipient. And then when I get my first journal back from the person who's sending it to me, I will record the journal that I received, what I'm going to do in the journal, and that's going to go on for like 10 months. Very fun. Sisterhood of the Traveling Journal. I'll link all the participants and our fearless leader in my description box below. Thanks for watching. See you soon.